you know, can breach carry, I guess, certainly, but not in the same way you could on Reyna.
Well, it'll be a conversation that will surely not end here. We'll keep our eye to see what exactly ShotUp will want to do with this breach. I don't remember the last time I saw a breach on ASCENT. It's been quite some time. Maybe like since closer towards when he got his third flash buff a long time ago. But Gen.G, they'll have to find a way to respond to that extra flash pressure. They're already through the middle of the map. GMD is over towards mid, trying to look to set things up, and there will be an Aldrin over towards tree as Gen.G are deciding which exact position they want to try to hit on.
We'll see how Immortals read this one as well. You see the smokes coming through from B. You see mid being smoked up as well. I'm not too sure if Immortals have exactly spotted that just yet, but there's enough utility being thrown into A now that Immortals are definitely getting a little bit suspicious. Full rotation over. Should be 5 members of Immortals arriving soon.
Sean, good for the first blood. Chemicals responding, though. Keeps it to a 4v4. Spike will likely be down. Post-plant setup for Gen.G will likely rely on the Jet playing long. Mikhail's able to find one elimination. Gangsta coming on down, trying to help out. Is good for one, but not a second as Kusta's able to double up from the bottom side of Heaven. JC Stani, 16 HP. Tough position to be in. Caught literally in a corner. And Gen.G successfully take the pistol.
A good flash coming through from JC Stani as well via the Paranoid, but they couldn't quite connect onto the targets. Didn't win the jewels required. Coming through either from Tree or Heaven. I don't even think it was a late rotation. I think it was a pretty timely rotation. Immortals, they were waiting for extra info. They saw the little bit of smoke utility being faked over towards B. It wasn't until the Reyna lair coming through from Sean was committed that Immortals decided to make the full rotation in. One player in hell for Immortals to go down fairly early as well. No trades. So it is going to be the Stinger Force. Again, pretty predictable. Normally what you would see coming through. So Immortals getting aggressive over towards A. Should be a potential flash and dash. Paranoid coming on through in just a moment.
Kusa's going to keep some pressure through this B main. Win, meanwhile, has found first blood. That was Chemicals just outside the A archway, and now Gen.G is going to make their way through the middle of the map and play over for a B execute. ShotUp, first test coming up, as he is the only player defensively here. Sidesteps, not intentionally, away from Paranoia. Gets a really nice flash point, but Sean still turns on it, gets the overheal, and Gen.G with all 5 members around to the B site.
Yeah, that was the only chance for Immortals to maybe bring one back and have a shot at getting this retake into action with the Stingers they have available. It came through on the flash, and speaking of flashes, Nature will be flashed up via the lair, will be coming through to a potential flawless. If JC Stani is going to be able to tax one member away, can he at least steal something though? Is there a gun on the floor that he can maybe have a look at? The smoke does come through. Unlikely to see the Paranoia. That would be an expensive committal coming through from JC Stani, as low HP on the other end is Huynh, who doesn't want to challenge, would like to be able to escape with his gun.
Not going to be allowed. Huynh finding the third kill. Sentry turret getting involved a little bit. And so far, not much to comment on when it comes to ShotUp's performance on the breach, although granted, he hasn't had much of an opportunity outside of that 1v3 that he was kind of finding himself in just outside the B site. So we'll see how things kind of unfold. And it's just so weird to see ShotUp's name next to a breach.
And I thought this guy only played Reyna. The Immortals are doing something different today. And unfortunately, it's too early to call, isn't it? But if down the line Immortals end up losing this map, it's like, maybe he should have just played the Reyna. We'll see, though. We'll see if this breach ends up paying dividends or not, as this time around Immortals will be stacking pretty heavily over towards B. They forced the previous round, so they're going towards the upgraded pistols now. Drone is going to spot out Chemicals, who needs to get out of this situation. And, oh my goodness, Nature's there for the kill. Sean's down, and that's potentially a free gun.
Quick rotation for Gen.G, coming right into JC Stani's line of sight. He finds absolutely nothing. So back to 4v4, a wide open A site as well for Gen.G's plant. Immortals want to try to contest this, at least by the look of it. All 4 members are here defensively up towards the rafters. They're not going to find much initially. Fault line comes through, that it will connect to Mikhail. And the flashpoint. Now everyone will peek. On they go. First good for Mikhail. GMD down low, just trying to hold his life. Nature with the Sheriff, good for 1. GMD in a great position, able to clean things up in combination of Kusta. And Gen.G, a flawless start so far, 3-0 up.
Nature shot up right towards the end there, taking individual duels. One over towards Generator, one in towards Hell, and neither of those turning up the way that Immortals are looking for. To be fair, it was a safe, not expecting massive plays to come on through. Despite the opening kill being good, Nature landing that headshot. For Immortals are retaking on towards A with minimal equipment. Not really going to last too long there. The initial flash doesn't catch anybody. The aftershock did manage to at least land on, who was it, Mikhail on generator, but that's about all they can work with as we head into now what will be the gun round for Immortals. Very important round. Blaistorm being committed on the side of Gen.G as well.
It'd be a big 4th round here for Gen.G, pending they find it. It'd put Immortals in a very awkward position financially early on. Fault line through the middle of the map. Not going to find any connection. Shot up has been tagged a touch. Flashpoint through. GMD able to avoid that. There will be some reveal on the play through the middle. Chemicals will find first blood when drops, and now another early advantage for Immortals with the numbers.
All right, shot up around the corner. He does get the kill into Kusta, but time mid is open right now. GMD, the long-range stinger, is just going to tickle shot up down to a small amount of HP, but still alive, as Chemicals will clean up one further. And now for Gen.G, 2 members remaining. Again, still holding on to the SMGs from the previous round. I think they do have 1 rifle there. It is GMD with a Vandal. Limited time, limited players, limited HP, 36 down to 0. Shot up with 3 kills this round, working towards the Rolling Thunder, and now Immortals pick their first round up of the half.
Big round there for Immortals. They do it cleanly, I think, is the most important part. Now, granted, we weren't really looking at Gen.G coming out with still a handful of SMGs and saying, yeah, this is a round that they should win, but the fact that Immortals are able to essentially do it as flawlessly as they possibly could have imagined, that's great news for them trying to work their way back in, because Gen.G do have the ability for this next offense to go Empress. They also have a Hunter's Fury in the mix. And at least you're able to, for Immortals, get Chemicals back under the hands of an operator.
Very close to a lot of ultimates here, like you sort of mentioned, in terms of what we do have, but also what's coming up for both teams. Fast speed up now from Gen.G, potentially the flashes to slow them down, coming through a shot up who's been also kind of caught behind the smoke. A lot of rotation from Immortals. Yeah, they're pretty much banking on that this is going to be B for sure. Gen.G haven't fully committed. They've shown a little bit of presence, thrown a little bit of util in there. Mikhail checking mid, and potentially now Gen.G can rotate from B lobby over to mid, potentially into then rafters onto A. Still a lot of time remaining for Gen.G to make their real call.
Spike is starting to make its way over towards this potential hit through B main. Shot up would be likely the first defender to deal with this. Gonna queue up the fault line, let it rip. And actually, does that connect on to win? Yeah, it does. The Cloudburst is how he gets in. Hunter's Fury in the mix, trying to clear off the space. Backside arches. Shot up able to find first blood on the win, though. Numbers advantage again for Immortals, but it's going to come down to what can you find inside the site of your nature. Gets 1. Opportunity for a second. Gets traded away. Now a 4v3 situation. Rolling Thunder will be spent. The kill, though, finds 2 kills, and now it's just down to Kagakes to find a way in. It's a double of his own. The numbers will tilt to a 1v2 situation. Now a 1v1. Chemicals watching the cross will make sure that GMD cannot be successful. That's 2 rounds in a row for Immortals.
And the pivotal thing there was Gen.G couldn't get a plant down, so the spike carrier went down as well. So Immond having to find at least a couple of 1v1s will get 1 kill. Doesn't know where Chemicals was, but Chemicals on this operator now finding 4 kills. As Immortals get their second round of the half so far, making a decent recovery after going 0-3 down. This will be the final buy for Gen.G before they might have a broken economy. And even here, you see, Sean looking towards a stinger. And, I mean, realistically speaking, if they want to use Empress this round, somebody on his team will need to drop him a rifle. Chemical's going to get a free kill. We'll push this turret, and look at the shot. It's beautiful.
Another beautiful first blood for Immortals. Can they turn this into 3 straight rounds? Gen.G largely in the middle of the map. You also hear the Bladestorm getting popped. JC Stanley takes care of the Aldro. Not a lot revealed off of that. Chemicals still holding the middle of the map, but just with a different set of weaponry this time. As Gen.G are starting to stack up towards tree. JC Stanley, no paranoia. Has to try to hold his life. He's going to have a little bit of help as Shot Up has moved over. Hit by the paranoia. GMD free kill. Flashpoint out. Gen.G still alive through this. Here comes the hit. Onto the site they go. Gangsta falls. Now it's just down to the 2 members of Immortals up top as they're still waiting for Nature to rotate over. And he will get over into Garden, but as the spike is planted, Immortals still have a lot of obstacles to deal with, including now a lockdown that'll be able to help them clear some space.
Sean, by the way, didn't end up picking a rifle. No, he does. He gets a rifle eventually. I thought he might have picked up the Phantom drop by JC Stani, but there's a Phantom in hand regardless as the Empress does get played in. You're right, they do have to deal with the lockdown. Huen goes down over towards the Nano Swarm as well. Sean being caught by the lockdown.
4 players.
To try and get out. Yes, everybody.
But it's not going to make too much of a difference. Gen.G, Nature's defusing! He's stuck it! 4 players detained. Nature sneaks on. He gets the 1 kill with the Nano Swarm and then exists in the Cloudburst for just long enough. And Gen.G, you thought with the kills and the feed that was going to be good enough. They completely lose sight of Nature.
What a unique situation, though. How many times would you see 4 people being caught by a lockdown? Usually, you would kind of just exit the situation. You would either press the lockdown, try and destroy it, or you kind of just give away site control entirely, allow the lockdown to come into play the rest of your post plant as you normally would. This is one of those extremely unique situations where if you are somebody like Nature, you play with the cards you get given, and look at that. Pre-defuse, Chemicals finds the opening shot again, and once more, it's another 5v4.
Unbelievable turn of events here. So many, I mean, that's 4 first bloods in a row for Immortals, a lot of them coming from Chemicals, if not all of them. Now the attacking lockdown gonna come through. Paranoia avoided. Gangsta gonna immediately go in to destroy the lockdown with the Hunter's Fury, and I believe he actually connects one of those last shots onto some damage, though. Mikhail and Sean do find a couple of kills. That was an engagement in the middle of the map. It leads us to a 3v3. Execute still on the way. Defensively, it's going to be Gangsta who's here. Just comes down to the timing of these peaks as Gen.G are slowly playing this, and they might actually consider going through the defender spawn here. And if they do, they could catch Chemicals completely off guard. They will. Now a 3v2 for Gen.G.
Nature's only gets 1 as well. Gangsta was waiting for the potential push. Gangsta even playing a 50-50 angle, by the way, if someone pushes over towards stairs. Would be in a decent amount of trouble as Chemicals wasn't watching that area. Obviously, he was looking over towards mid. If Nature got 2 here, this is much more winnable for Immortals, but maybe that is asking for a little bit too much. Gang would have to clutch this one on versus 2 now. At least he's got full util. A drone should be coming on through after drone, should be looking towards recon. Has to deal with this turret as well, which is not ideal. His positioning will be revealed very quickly once his utility comes into play.
Alarm bot. Will scout out his position. Recon bolt will clear the backside of Arches. Not a lot of time to make this play happen. Gangsta seems to want to commit to it. Both players underneath. Here comes the first challenge. Wins it. The second one around the corner. Gets a lot of damage, but can't confirm the kill. Now time is the problem. Does get the elimination. It will be close.
He might.
It's real close, but I don't think he's got it. Just a bit slow.
Had double shocks available, was thinking of the possibility of him maybe double shocking over to hell. He would have needed to spot that. He actually thought about it as well. He got the initial kill into Sean, thought about putting utility out to try and get Kusta down. Ends up being the pistol, and Kusta just playing his life for a little bit longer. Long enough that the eventual defuse wasn't going to work out. It was a good attempt coming through from Gangsta. Really came down to about a second difference, roughly. Gen.G are going to sneak one through, and it's going to force Immortals onto potential half-buy. You can see their equipment value not very high this particular round.
Gen.G trying to take control of A long. And also grab an ultimate orb. That's going to earn up the Hunter's Fury. Will we see that be another opening engagement on the backside of that ultimate? See Mikhail currently holding on to it. Chemicals just with the pistol inside. Here comes the hit. Jet dash right to the mix. Chemicals not going to find any eliminations. This would be a hard press round, you feel like, for Immortals in the first place, but they're not walking away with any kills whatsoever. That should be a Gen.G round to put them up 5-3 as soon as they take care of Gangsta, which they do immediately as spoken.
Yeah, Chemicals would have to be the only player in position to at least get a favorable trade, but he was spotted by the recon, I believe, and just can't quite land the shots required after being revealed. So for Immortals, it would have been a round to just do some damage at best. Again, the equipment value just not really high enough to be able to get much more done after that. You know, aside from maybe seeing Chemicals get a kill, pick up a gun, dash away into a smoke, and then perhaps convert onto further, that would be the only real path for Immortals to try and clutch that one through, or to, you know, find any sort of eco win. I can't quite tell if there's going to be an operator online for Immortals. Didn't quite get to see the guns, but a lot of pressure coming through from Immortals over towards mid. Is Gen.G back towards A, though, and just the solo defenses. We're waiting to see if the rest of Immortals can get there in time.
Quick rotation for Immortals. Hunter's Fury out for Gen.G. JC Stani staying alive for now, holding close. Chemicals again finds first blood. I feel like almost every single one of his kills has been a first blood. Now over the top. Shot Up's going to take care of Sean. Stuck in a Nano Swarm. He was trying to hold for a second kill. Not going to be there. Not going to make a difference, though. And last, Mikhail This would have to be a 1v5 situation. He eventually gets taken down. And that will be Immortals bouncing back 4-5 overall. And just to, again, to keep in the back of your mind, Gen.G's offense has been their better overall side, and to a tune of 52%. The bad news, they only win 38% of their defenses. So you're hoping for at least 7, I feel like, if you're Gen.G here. And that was a big round.
I think this is the kind of round as well where, you know, Immortals finally get the weapons online after having to go for a save straight away. The operator comes and pays dividends for Chemicals, who is a Blade Storm nice and built and ready. 6 out of 7 for Gangster and Shot up here as well. But it's going to go towards the Blade Storm. He might be able to afford something. I mean, he definitely has the money if he wants to go for it, but this does look like a Blade Storm round for sure. They need to do something about this Chemicals operator. He'll be peeking over towards mid. I don't know if he'll get challenged. Could possibly be Mikhail looking to at least dart over to mid, but not to peak.
Bloodstorm did get popped. You saw the Stinger was what was, I believe, purchased there as well for Win. Chemical still holding. Dark cover will back everything away. So no point of contact here early for a first blood. And Gen.G with a 3-2 split, still focusing the spike over towards A, where Immortals are actually not holding from inside the site. Chemicals trying to find a pixel through the dark cover. He does find an angle, not a lot of damage, but JC Standy makes good. Tries to stay alive. The right click for Win is good, but the trade is better. As a 4v3 situation, as Gen.G do force commit to get onto the A site.
Lockdown available for both teams as well. Kusta hasn't used one just yet. Going to be saving that one potentially for a post plant, as that plant will now be confirmed. The rest of Immortals, a lot of ultimate supply. I mean, they can use Hunter's Fury here. They already get shown down 4 versus 2, and Gen.G are in trouble. Instantly, this is going to be the lockdown play coming through from the Immortals side of things. It's Nature confirming, and the rest of the players now streaming in. It's going to come down to potentially a bit of aggression from Gimon and Kusa, but that aggression we muted straight away. Immortals find themselves another round, keeping it close.
Gotta respect the attempt, though, for Gen.G. See if you can catch this Immortals team off guard. You know they're not going to immediately commit for a retake at the beginning portions of this lockdown. Likely going to do it near the middle stages of it, and they try to get aggressive and catch them off guard. Not going to be successful. So now 5-5 the tally. And again, I still in my mind, I'm looking at Gen.G. They have to, their goal has to be 7 offensively. Their defense has not been notoriously great. And again, you talked about last time they played Immortals, they only had 1 successful defensive round. Playing up against Sentinels after that, they only found 3 successful defensive rounds. So just to kind of go back into the history and tell you how the trends have been, it leads me to at least believe that Gen.G would really be aiming for a 7-5 at the worst.
So here's a potential issue here for Gen.G as we get into the initial duel for the operators. Chemicals will go down. Finally, it's Gwyn looks to challenge, and Rain of Terror for Chemicals on the opening shots has been finally gone. 5v4 now, Empress available. Lockdown save from the previous round. If Gen.G don't win this one, they're looking at a pretty broken buy situation. A lot of members are down financially. Gang gets 1 catch. That's going to be a kill, and instantly that 5v4 turns into a 4v4 instead.
Lockdown going to be spent. Rolling Thunder also the mix. That forces Gen.G back. Shot Up is looking to get aggressive. Wants to try to deal with the lockdown, but does not see it fully. Another nice flashpoint, and Shot Up finds 2! Sean from mid-map will find the trade, but it comes at a cost that not many would want to pay. It's a 3v2 situation, and the only tool available for Gen.G to try to make this 2v3 come through would have been the Empress, but Stani over the middle finds the kill, and now it just comes down to Win.
Shouldn't be doable here. This is going Immortals' way for sure. Win would need to do a lot. Operator in hand, no Blade Storm, limited utility. 2 smokes, though, could be pretty viable, but no dash is the main issue. Good news is, Spike is in hand. It's going to have to be a B plant. But has no idea where anyone is. He doesn't realize that Immortals have given the side away. He'll try and push over towards Alley. Needs to get the first kill. Can't pull the trigger, and Gangster locks it down. 6 and 5. Speaking of locking it down, that lockdown coming through from Gen.G needed to be the tool. And it comes down to Shut Up, using the Rolling Thunder, trying to counter, pushing the lockdown to destroy, realizing it was going to be behind the crate, which should be pretty obvious. It's kind of the normal position of it. Can't quite destroy the lockdown, finds 2 kills. If he doesn't get those 2 kills, if he just gets 1 kill, it's good. Getting 2 kills completely destroys that round for Gen.G, and that's what happens.
Well, this last round is not going to feel comfortable at all for Gen.G, not because of the fact that they just spent a lot of their ultimates, but they're coming into the battle with 2 Bulldogs. Chemicals are going to get aggressive with the operator, and he will not be awarded an angle initially, but the second peak Win will drop. Another shot from Chemicals will miss. Now he's stuck in the backside of Wine Cellar, but good help from the Paranoia to come out. but it will be traded back and forth. So vision denied for both sides. Nano Swarm dealt with. JC Stani trying to stay alive. Chemicals not quite hitting some of these op shots, and that will lead to a Gen.G 4v2 situation as Sean found 3.
Yeah, this is definitely quite aggressive coming through from Immortals. You know, you look at Chemicals, he could have chosen to dash away back to safety, back onto site, but goes into wine instead, has a few more smokes available to try and get himself out, but will just try and swing for the kills and miss. Good opportunity now for Gen.G, especially with the Empress pop. 4 versus 2. Both of the Immortal defenders have arrived. And with shot up down as well, limited utility. This one will go 6 and 6 now for sure. As Nature will try and clutch, but can't get it done. Sean with 4 kills. And Gen.G with a good punish as well, where Immortals definitely overstepped the boundaries. And Gen.G will say, well, we'll take the free round then. 6 and 6 for the half.
Much required 6th round for Gen.G, but we need to swap the sides, and it means that Gen.G will be going to, statistically, their worst half. Can they find a way to send us to map number 3? We will find out when we come back right after this. Out of the break into the action of my whole shift with me, Avril, and we've got ourselves another 6-6 tie. And one of the things that you said when we were off break there is that it's a game until sometimes it just isn't. And again, Gen.G is going to go to their weaker half here defensively, as Immortals will be looking to full stack over for an A hit. They're going to move very, very quickly. Mikhail able to sidestep away from the flashpoint, but still first blood again from Chemicals. He has been a first blood master so far in this series.
The plant to come through now for JC Stani as well. Gen.G will be giving that one away reasonably quickly. Look for the long flank as well. That's going to be coming through from Kusa. Has to deal with the turret that's been placed here. If Gen.G can make a bit of a wrap around here, this can work for them, but Kusa has been spotted now. Will be a very important 1v1 eventually over towards Wine as the rest of Gen.G make their way from Heaven and Tree.
Potential Killjoy on Killjoy action. JC Stani caught trying to throw out some utility. Win finds the first kill, GMD the second, and it's going to be an exchange that does favor Immortals at the end of it. And my goodness, shot up for 2 off screen in Nature with the eventual point of contact that you had brought out. It looked good for a moment, but Immortals, they hang on. They find 3 of the final 4. They put themselves at the pistol up 7-6.
Immortal First Blood King coming through from the Chemicals time and time again. You've mentioned this already, but just giving that 5v4 over towards Immortals. Gen.G trying to make a bit of a long flank play. They end up not really having the time to wait for Kusa. Kusa won't even win his 1v1. Realizes himself there's not going to be enough time to play with, and we're going to see if this is maybe a force. Haven't seen the equipment yet, so I'm not too sure what the exact buys are. And it does look like both teams have gone Stingers, and yeah, there it is.
Immortals now testing their luck over towards B. The only defensive pressure that's going to be here will be from Kusta. There is a rotation potentially coming through as there's 2 members nearby in mid-market. Kusta just trying to stay alive. Jet dash in. Kusta sidesteps away from the fight, then comes back to take it, finds the first kill. Gets the reload off, but not fast enough. 2 for 2 we go overall, and Immortals have gained control of the B site.
Still looking for the plant coming through. Gen.G have positioning here. 3 alive on both ends. Like you said, both Omens are there. No paranoia for GMD. That's gone. Smoke has just come up available. There is going to be one still lurking over towards B main. That's going to be coming through from Nature. Very important play to clear eventually. Now just want to come on through, and big reveal onto GMD as well, just to slow things down.
Need this retake to be convincing if you're a Gen.G fan. Win does find the first kill. That's a good first step. Mikhail finds the second. Just not a gangsta. He's able to get the 1, knows that he's got information on the second, who is low just outside the boathouse. So again, Gen.G need to go. Interesting 1v2. Here comes the challenge. Gangsta lines both up and gets 3 in the round. Gen.G, a retake that needed to come through with numbers, unsuccessful. And Immortals, after the force buy from Gen.G, find themselves with a huge advantage up 8-6 early in the second half.
And you're just seeing the aggression and the sort of heads-up play coming through from Immortals as well to push the utility. We saw this earlier where Chemicals pushes against Kusta's, turret, gets it open to kill. Look at this recon coming from behind. Gangster knows he's got 2 options here. Turn around, shoot the recon, reveal his positioning, and then play for the 1v2. Or push stairs, push the recon, allow the recon to reveal him, but find a timing to potentially get a lineup, and that's exactly what gets delivered over. So now 2 rounds in the favor of Immortals, as no rush to come on through. Immortals have been stacking 5 for, you know, even looking back onto Icebox, been pretty much key to their strategy. They don't default too often, but this round they are going to be defaulting 2 over towards A and towards short, and 3 still hanging around B lobby currently.
Quinn had been tagged up very early on, just down to 30 HP. He's going to force some help from Mikhail from behind. Double shock darts. All drone also been spent. Avoids the majority of the flashpoint, but how about the middle of the map? Careful here. You've got a lot of pressure from the middle, but GMD, first one to fall, is shot up, gets a first blood. And now the rest of Immortals looking to stack as here comes the hit. Sean trying to cut off the back rotation, does find himself a headshot, but uses the dismiss instead of the overheal. So just down to 4 HP. Shot up trying to clear the middle of the map. And for now, at least Immortals have been kind of stuck inside of B main, but it's only for a small time as Gangsta opens the door from getting Kusta, but Win! He doesn't just grab 3, he says 4 looks better. Quad feed for Win, 3 of them headshots, and somehow, some way, Gen.G win a thrifty defense.
And that's the thing, you look at all the shares coming on through for the side of Gen.G, finding these long-range picks over towards mid as well. Give Sean one, he dismisses away. That's not going to be one you trade. Yuan here, looking over towards B main. This is where Immortals stacking up ends up costing them. They peek one by one. Huyn shoots one by one. Headshots lining up, and the Chef collects 4 into a very important round here. A round that I think Immortals didn't think they were going to lose, but one that really disrupts the tempo now. There's a lot of free guns being given over to Gen.G. Some aggression now being shown by Immortals going over towards A. It'll be Sean coming in to save the situation.
Good defensive pressure so far for Gen.G here at A. Immortals tagged down pretty low, has to back up and rethink how they want to approach. You still have Win in the middle of the map. He's actually played pretty far forward through that main archway, so it's going to be Immortals taking a long rotation and seeing what they can find over by B, but at a certain point, when you've already used a lot of your utility to see what's happening at A, you have to hope that you find information and likely a first blood.
Yeah, Drones has spotted out all of A. They know it's not A anymore. You see the rotations coming through from Gimond. Now Kusta knows. Kusta will be tested here for sure. The nanoswarm will slow things down. Should be popped any second now. Along with the smoke itself, we have Chemicals trying to make their way in, and Paranoia's going to lock everybody up.
Not able to find the shots from the top of the box. Kusta takes down Chemicals. Mikhail for 2. This is a 3v2 situation. Although Gangsta evens the odds. Win with the Blade Storm from mid-market. They're going to allow Immortals on. Gangsta considered the plant. Gave it up. And now will commit. Gen.G will try to retake this. Looks like to be together. Last updraft used for a win. Cloudburst also down. Nice hit. And the Rolling Thunder used. Gangsta finds the first. Now it's just down to 1. Shot up. Oh, he actually gets the flash up, but Sean responds to it. So now a 1v1 situation. And Gangsta is not going to see anything off of his recon bolt. He's going to push into it. Sean now on the low ground. Has to make a play happen. He's got to clear so much space, and Gangsta's flipped the map around. Easy kill. Gangsta for 3, and Immortals go up 9-7.
Yeah, the ultimate's coming in so clutch there for Immortals. The Rolling Thunder gets him at least 1 kill. Shut up, maybe getting a little bit too greedy. I thought he had that kill, though. To be fair, he does flash through. Barely dies to Sean. And then Gangsta gets himself into a situation where the Hunter's Fury could be played. Doesn't need it at the end of the day. Finds the timing onto Sean as he rotates all the way around onto Switch, on towards the stairs side of things, and then see Sean lurking, well, just kind of walking his way onto the side, isn't he? If that wasn't going to be the kill, if Sean even touched the spike, I think the Hunter's Fury comes down. That would have still been a very winnable round for Gangsta nonetheless. So, well played by Immortals, nearly reaching double digits here for 10 rounds. It's 9-7, just the 2 separating the 2 teams. Early drone to come out. Sean might be caught.
Mikhail good for the first. Hunter's Fury going to come out. Mikhail lucky to miss being tagged by that first shot. Gangsta's not going to convert any kills off of this. It's a 5v4 for the defense. JC Stanny, is he going to commit? He does. Onto the site he goes from the shadows. Not going to immediately try to plant. Puts it into the corner. Now Gen.G forced to have a retake. They're likely going to be waiting for Kusta. He does have a lockdown available. Will that be the tool to get them in, though, is the real question.
Because the Hunter's Fury is used as well, they can't really counter the...
Oh, no.
Can't really counter, I was going to say lockdown, but it doesn't really matter. This is just aggression coming through from both ends. Quinn with 2 kills so far, just down to the 1. Chemicals falls, and Gen.G, they got this one. Defuse onto Kusta, and there it is. Recovering 8-9 now, just keeping it tight in terms of the scoreline between both teams, and Immortals had a lot of control there, but Immortals, look at where the red X's are. They wanted to go aggressively into tree, and that's where Gen.G pounced.
Yeah, I think they recognize that the rotation from Kusta would likely be through Garden, so let's try to put some aggression on and catch them while they're in the middle of that lockdown placement, and they nearly do. But help comes, and really largely it's the paranoia from GMD to keep them alive. So still a pretty tight affair, just a one-round differential in favor of Immortals for now. You take a look at the economy, both teams still not comfortable, which, let's be honest, that's been a large majority of these two maps so far. It's just been buy after buy. No matter the situation, it's resulted in these weird broken buy situations for both teams.
Gen.G have already positioned 3 over towards B as well. The Nanoswarm in the typical location. Smoke to slow things down, and instantly a lockdown being placed. So here we go. Just very on the other end. Lockdown destroyed, and we reset back to neutral.
And Gen.G takes care of chemicals. He dashed right through the play looking for first blood. That will be denied. So another numbers advantage early here for Gen.G. As Mikhail, GMD also pop up in the kill feed. And all of this hit for Immortals has been completely disintegrated. Huge breakdown here after the fail lockdown setup. Win over the top has the judge, not going to be required. Sean peaked with him, and now we go tied 9-9.
And Flawless is huge as well. They're going to get the gun upgrades. Full rifles now for Gen.G. A lot of money in the bank. I mean, we talked about the fact that it's been not quite broken buys, but not comfortable buys either. It's just the money's been a little bit mixed. So it's been some rifles, some SMGs for both teams. Certainly in that last round, Quinn even had the judge will enjoy a rifle now for free, and it's going to be Nature looking towards Sheriffs. In fact, Sheriffs for most of the players here, they'll be looking for a similar round to what Quinn found earlier in terms of potentially finding a long-range kills on the Sheriff. So we'll see if that's successful at all. They don't have ultimates to play with now. So for Immortals, likely they'll go down 9 and 10 here as Gen.G look for double digits.
Shot up, looking to get aggressive with the opening Sheriff peek through A long. Not going to be successful. Lear is also there, but there's really no follow-up. It's just shock darts, and they've actually found some pretty significant damage. Nice flashpoint. JC Stan able to find the first kill. Opportunity to actually steal a weapon away here. As that X is pretty far forward. The spike, meanwhile, has been dropped over towards B, but there is no real offensive pressure to suggest that that's its final destination.
As the smoke comes down as well, Quinn's going to try and challenge for this weapon in terms of just putting in the pot shots there. Nature finds Kusa on the other side of the map as well. Nature for 2. B is open. They get a free rifle over towards A. They get some free guns on B as well. They just need to pick up the spike, get a plant in, and suddenly Immortals are in. Immortals have got this one. Sean will try and find a couple players on rotation here. This is going to be pretty huge. He has destroyed the turret, so his position is known. The spike has been delayed, and they must deal with Sean to cross.
And they will. Chemicals headshot at long range. Just down to win. 26 HP. Fault line pushing him around. Wind with 2, but it's Nature to follow up after one of the free guns that he collected. And now all of a sudden, Immortals are not just up 10-9. They secure a Thrifty. They put Gen.G in a weird position with the finances. Maybe not for this round, but not everyone's going to be able to purchase.
Yeah, Wynn's going to go maybe towards the Bladestorm here. Technically, 5k is enough to really buy, but what a wacky round that was. And it's kind of revenge for the earlier Thrifty win that Gen.G got as well when Quinn got the 4k on the Sheriff this time around. It's Immortals saying we can do the same, not on one person, but across the map. And when you see the kill coming over towards A main, you see Nature completely opening up the B. What happened there? We have no idea how Nature gets the double kill, but the double kill is exactly what gets in the round win.
Watching here.
Blitzstorm, I believe, was popped. Yep, Wynn's got it in hand. Empress is also available here. Might be needed. Again, you just don't want to get into a position where you're down 11-9, and you would have to save next round, likely if you're Gen.G, depending on how the circumstances unfold here for this round. Tough one, to be sure, and Immortals are also weighing the situation and say that there is a lot of gravity on this one. Let's make sure that we're clean with this approach.
Is Gen.G thinking about maybe taking control in mid? They have Al droned it out, so they know mid is completely clear for now. Smoke does come through. That information has been given to Quinn that potentially Immortals maybe also looking for mid. This could be contact being made here for sure. I mean, look at this. Quinn just waiting on the other side of the smoke. There it is. Mikhail finds one. Sean is still there, though.
This is going to have to be an execution at some point for Immortals. It's going to likely be occurring over towards B. Not a lot of time on the clock. Kusta. Gonna get one of the nano swarms out. Big information value off of that recon bolt as far as where these defenders are positioned, but it's Win from mid-market. Does not finish a kill. Now has to go back to the Stinger. He gets dealt with. 4v4 we go. Into the site though. Kusta watching one angle. Good for a first kill, but shot up. It was weird to see him on the breach, but he's doing pretty darn well with it. It's a 3v2. Spike looking to get planted. Sean wants to immediately contest, and Nature puts him down. Now Mikhail gets the weapon up, tries the spam, but shot up from the close corner, finds his third kill in the round, and Immortals are up 11-9, putting Gen.G in a pretty awful financial position coming into round 21.
Quinn's going to be kicking himself with that play for sure. Had a freebie lined up in terms of the Blaze Storm, but it just misses all the knives. Goes to the Stinger. And at that range, the Stinger is not going to be accurate enough to find that kill either. So Quinn could have made that one a potential 1v2 towards the end, or even 2v2. That getting a one kill or two would have been very huge for Gen.G on that market position. Immortals, who already have that first map from Icebox, looking at 11 now. 12 here would be pretty devastating. So for Gen.G, last opportunity to really try and get this one underway, because Quinn kind of saved the last one. They also have guns available with Sean down and with Quinn to follow. I think this is going 12.
Sure feeling that way. JC Stani able to take down Mikhail. The only thing to really root for here for Gen.G is the fact that GMD has found one elimination, and that will result in a weapon pickup. But he's got Gangsta nearby, and Gangsta has heard every bit of this. The wide swing, Gangsta deals with it. Now it just comes down to one. Kusta, 1v4 situation. Will likely try to go for it. Not going to get it off the ground, though, as Gangsta finds a mid-map, and we're on match point for Immortals. 12-9 up.
Match point with 4 ultimates, with, you know, the only player that doesn't have an ultimate is Gang, who's only 1 away as well. They might as well have the full stack here. They got all the weapons they need. Operator for chemicals coming online. A buy-up coming through from Nature. JC Stani sitting on 8.5k. It's gross how much they have to work with for what could be the last round here. And Gen.G will at least have all the guns. Quinn doesn't have full armor. A couple of them are 1 away from ultimate, so it's not the worst situation in terms of Gen.G for resource. Bit of a pause coming through. Could be a tech pause or maybe a tank pause. And if it is a tank pause, Gen.G certainly need one.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be the round where they got to bounce back from here. If there's any hope of OT, obviously they have to win 3 rounds from here on out. But, you know, this is the kind of round where they have a real shot. They have ultimates. They have guns. They have a real opportunity. Sean's got an Empress. They just cannot allow Chemicals to get the opening pick again. And Chemicals is opping offensively, so all it would take is Gen.G to not aggressively peek. They probably have to play somewhat defensively. I say that, but if you look over towards B, you already have a situation where Quinn's saying, if Chemicals is there, I'm going to challenge. He won't be there, though. Immortals have stacked over towards A. So it will be now. How fast can Gen.G respond to A pressure, and Immortals go? Are they going to commit to A as well? They can actually just lock down. There's no Hunter's Fury on the opposite end to counter this one. So if Immortals want to lock down, just play for A, they can do that.
It's just there are so many obstacles in the face of Gen.G just for this round specifically, let alone what could potentially occur over the next 3 to 4 set overtime. I mean, the large part of it for me is you're looking at the lockdown that has no response, like you very aptly mentioned, but also you've got to survive through what has been very good placement so far for shot ups, Rolling Thunders. So it's just, and you've got Immortals, even if they lose this round, depending on what they use or not in the ultimate part, but they could still full buy going into the round after this. So it's not an easy journey. It's a climb up a very steep mountain here. But if an Empress can be utilized and Sean finds value, maybe there's an opportunity to extend this. Early Rolling Thunder comes right through mid. Everyone backs away from that, but that will be the take as JC Stani makes his way onto the site. Not looking to immediately plant. Shot up continuing to throw out fault lines, but it's Mikhail who finds first blood. Now the lockdown also in play. All the ultimates have been spent for Immortals. Spike planted. Just the Hunter's Fury that's left, and they're going to set up a post plant for this. Gen.G on the retake will have the ability of getting a Hunter's Fury of their own, though.
Immortals have used everything here, though. The only issue I'm having with this is, yes, they do have a Hunter's Fury available for Gang, but Showstopper, lockdown gone, and that's just for the plant. Now that they're in the post plant, how do they actually hold on to this one? Because this is where Gen.G is going to start committing. They have a lot of util of their own. Empress has been popped from the shadows now to check over towards main. They confirm, is the Hunter's Fury going to follow?
Sean's got to go. He's got to be the first one through. And as he gets into the dark cover, it's shot up not for 1, but for 2. Kusta able to find 1 elimination, and he's actually going to find a second from behind. It's a 2v2 situation, but the Hunter's Fury is still in play. Kusta pushes through this, finds himself his 3rd kill. Mikhail responds, and Gen.G, there will not be enough time. A touch unfortunate. They made the plays they had to, but the clock was not on their side. So 13-9.